Good morning everyone, hope you're all well. Good to see you and thank you for joining me, especially those of you who are just joining me on record later today or at some future date. Hope your day has gone well, or your days have gone well. The sound of summer lawnmowers going. It's a nice mild morning. I think it's going to be quite warm. Good morning, Anne. Lovely to see you, and to all of you who are joining me live. So you can still hear the bird song. Good morning, Lynn. Lovely to see you. Hope your day started well. Good morning, Jacqueline. Lovely to see you too. Good morning, Maria. Lovely to see you. Hope all's well. And I'll just change the camera direction so we can see. And now you got a context for the bird song. Despite the lawnmowers going, beautiful collection of buttercups coming up here. They're so tall. I remember reading or someone saying that there's different types of buttercup. These are obviously the tall ones. This one they've just passed is waist high. Birds are beautiful this morning, sounding gorgeous. As is this particular tree that I often stop at. Shame about a bottle lying behind it, but let's ignore that. Look at the unique kind of contours of it. And I love those bits where just where the next branch comes. Look at those circles. Like a sculpting. And the bird song just playing alongside us. That's exquisite sound. And so we meander. We're no rush, no hurry. The leaves, just stop and look at the leaves, the way they overlap one another, which then changes the shade of green. And I'm probably near a blackbird's nest, judging by that response there. And the broom. Gorgeous colour. Look how bright and yellow that is, and this isn't a cloudy morning. And the grasses again, waist high. Look at the fine detail. It was about this time last year that I started noticing how many varieties of grasses there are. Dozens and dozens in this little area. And it's wonderful to see them. Because they've got this elegance, they grow tall, and like here, they grow tall and then they bend over with the weight of the sheaths, is it they call them? Whatever they call them. Kind of real complex beauty. So that was a big thick one, and here's ones that are just tiny little end bits, just living alongside one another. Here's a really tall one, just this, if you can catch it, just the leaves, and look at the way that leaf then bends there gorgeously, and then that's it. Well done. Beautiful. So 3 entirely different ones just in the space of a few steps, and then you take a few steps further and it's back to the buttercups catching the eye. The beauty of the yellow, but here's a few dandelions which haven't quite been puffed or blown away yet. And so we can look in and see absolutely the gorgeous detail of that. Isn't this amazing? And is this a baby oak? I think a lot of different trees have got, good morning Margaret, a lot of different trees have got the same sort of oak leaf shape, so it might not be an oak, but it's lovely and light coloured, almost yellowy green. And it's only chest high. And if it is an oak, you can imagine if we don't destroy it. In 500 years, it would be as wide as a house. And huge and tall oak trees are such gorgeous looking trees. We're very lucky, those of you who don't live locally. We've got Châtellerault Country Park, and they've got ancient oaks which are reputed to have been ordered to be planted by King David I of Scotland in the 12th century. So I don't know how true these things are, but they're certainly several hundred years old. They could well be 700 or 800 years old. And amazing to think that. I'll just stop for another lot of grasses. Look at the kind of violety purple shade on that. And there's a whole sheaf of them there, a whole lot of them there. And then just down beside them, these little pink beauties. So in spring and summer, I guess, I think it's the eyes that give you this gorgeous array. You can't stop but be focusing on what you see. But what you hear is lovely as well. Listen to the rustle of the leaves, if you can just catch it, and the bird song. They're such complementary sounds. The rustle of the leaves is almost like a sort of gentle backdrop. And then it's like music. It's like a very subtle backdrop of percussion. And then the singers go on, but just stop and look at this. A magpie just flying off as well. Wow, it really is a whole carpet of yellow buttercups. Beautiful. I've never seen it this rich before. It's almost like a impressionist painting, you know. All that's missing is the blanket and the 19th century French family having a picnic. So sight and sound. And here's more. Now I don't know these, somebody might be able to tell us. They're just coming up, there's a few of them near the back gate as well, but there's lots of them here right now. They're beautiful leaves, very distinctive leaves, sort of that slightly grey green, but there's a couple of dozen of them here just now. And then amongst the buttercups, you've got all these different grasses. Look at the grasses, because they're now coming to fruition, and you're seeing the colours of them, the differences in them. And this is why we walk mindfully, because if we've got things in our mind, you'll miss all of this. And surely this is too beautiful to miss. And if we're thinking about them, if we're analysing, what species is this? Well, I wonder what that is. Then it's easy to miss even, for example, the whole grasses that are just coming on top of what we're looking at. So thinking is essential in life. Thinking is great and so helpful in life. But it can get in the way at times. At times like that, when you start to see everything going from yellow and then all of a sudden it's white. And just down here, I don't know if it's a rose bush. Here we are. If it is, it's just a wee baby coming to fruition. Look at the colour. Look at the complexity. And all over there. No, it's not rose. Is that an... Well, maybe. I have no idea. Doesn't matter. But there's beauty in the colour. Oh, and that's, oh, hello, there's grass. Higher than my eyes, just virtually the same height as me. All the way down there. And beautiful, almost like tube-like or bamboo-like stalks. I'm just going to nip in here if I can keep this cable from being there beyond the thistles that are just growing. Try not to trample too much on the beautiful plants, but just to get in here to let you see these together. There's actually 4 of them. I'll zone in on these 2 bigger ones. Isn't it amazing that something like that can exist at all? And there's the little closing over of the petals. And I'm just around an area of grass. Again, that's shoulder height. Just walking without... Good morning, Angie, lovely to see you. Walking without purpose. This ties in with something the 2 great philosophies of the East, or 2 of the great philosophies of the East, Zen and Taoism, both talk about effortless effort. So you actually do make an effort, you're getting out and about, you're walking, but thereafter you're just soaking in and things get accomplished. There's a phrase in Chinese which more or less means the sage does nothing and everything is accomplished, which is not quite literal, I think, but what it's saying is if you can command and master your thoughts and your emotions and feelings, it just needs little tweaks in life to get things done, and you don't need much in life. And if you can satisfy those needs, then you have the time to see things like this. And just a sense of wonder comes back, almost like a childlike view of life, which is to say a view of life that hasn't been tarnished or sort of veiled over with worries and thoughts. So we try to think when it's the right time to think. We try and use knowledge, like knowing which trees and which grasses are those ones and what flowers are those ones. We use them when it's helpful or enjoyable to do that, like in quizzes or when chatting with family or when talking about gardening or stuff. But when we are out for a mindful walk, this is about nurturing the essence of you, how you feel about being alive, what you understand that life is about. And it's really, to my mind, all about living in the moment and making the most of it. If the moment's difficult or bad, you try and make it constructive as best you can. And if the moment is good, like it is just now, just let it happen. Just let it happen, and you be a passive but beneficial recipient of all of this stuff. And isn't it good to be alive when you see clouds like this? And yellow all over like this, and green all over like this, and bird song all over like this. Somebody's flying up there. You're pigeon. Oh, am I missing you? I can't really see. No, it's a crow. Oh, I've got you there. Such beauty in its flight. Absolutely gorgeous. So, I will leave you with those thoughts as we look over North Lanarkshire again. Just see Firpo Park, Motherwell's football ground. And I hope those of you who watched the football last night survived it. My daughter was watching with her neighbours in Glasgow. They're both in a new build, so just made friends with each other. And the neighbours were looking at Katie when she was going, "Oh no, 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 no," every time England attacked. And they, of course, my son and my daughter are 30 and 26. They've never experienced Scotland in the latter stages of a tournament before. So they haven't got used to what many of us Scots have got used to, of tense moments. But I used mindfulness, as you can imagine, quite well. I was saying to Christine that what I've always done in the last few years is, if you've got a kind of yearning or a wanting, imagine that you know it's not going to happen. So Scotland are going to get beaten. Then if they lose a goal, then you're not as disappointed because, well, that's kind of what you were expecting. So you're playing a trick with your mind. Whereas if you're saying, "Oh, I hope, I hope, I hope," then you can get easily disappointed. But it was fun, it was enjoyable. And I'm slowly learning to take some of the angst out of football, watching football. So I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you all have a lovely day today. I'll be back on this evening, 8:15, as usual. And I hope to see some of you then. Meantime, have a lovely day, and I'll just walk in quietness with the birds as company for the next wee while. Thank you. You're welcome, Maria. Thanks everyone. Take care now. Bye.